Hey everyone, Chris here from Thrill Rides. Today I want to talk about security at the parks, and also I want to talk about the incident that happened at Kennywood on Saturday night where 3 people were injured, no life-threatening injuries, thankfully, but having a background in law enforcement, and also I've worked park security at Universal and Disney as well. I could give some input on what the park is probably going to do in the future in regards to this. Now, they have not found the gunman yet. But we do have some details that we found out from the grapevine and also from some insiders on possibly what would have happened. And now this has not been confirmed by the police or anybody like that, but it will showcase the gaps that there are in some of the park security and what they are going to be probably looking at fixing in the near future. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. And our condolences go to the family and friends and the park and anybody who is involved in this incident. Let's go ahead and read what Kennywood had to say. We are greatly saddened by the violence that occurred last night. Our thoughts are with those who were injured as a result of the incident, as well as all guests and team members affected by what happened. We have services available for team members in need of the support at this time. We're closely collaborating with police as they investigate our entire security protocols to include a state-of-the-art weapons detection system put into place at the start of the season, video scanning, and bag checks. We regularly supplement our park security staff with officers from Allegheny County Police Department and West Mifflin Police Department who were contacted to support our teams during the operating hours, including Saturday evening. We will continue to cooperate with authorities throughout our investigation. The park is closed Sunday, September 25th. We will reopen as scheduled on Friday. So there you have it on that. And as you can see, they've added new security measures this season at Kennywood. And that includes the front gate entrance and probably areas around the park to add more park security during the event. For some reason, this year especially, there's been a lot of issues during haunt events. This happened at Carowinds. This happened at Kennywood. This has happened at many different parks. Now, also, I happen to work Universal Orlando security as well. We had minor issues due to the fact that we have different protocols and so forth that I'm not able to discuss, unfortunately. But we did have a chaperone policy after a certain hour. Many other parks have implemented a chaperone policy, and that has helped a lot of the issues that have been happening, especially at Carowinds, Six Flags Great America, Knott's Berry Farm. A lot of different parks that have had incidents have combated this by offering that. Now, obviously, there was a couple incidents, including there was one over at Six Flags Great America where the parking lot had a shooting. So, obviously, you can't do too much except for to add maybe more additional patrols. And I'll go over that here in just a second. But first, I want to show you guys some of the gaps that possibly could have happened that would have allowed this gunman to throw maybe a gun into Kennywood and then retrieve it later, which means there could be multiple people involved in this. So let's look at the route next to it. This is 837. That is the wall that surrounds Kennywood, and that is the ride known as Music Express. This is the area that has been going on online, and some sources that I've talked to have said that this is a possibility of the area that he could have thrown the gun over the wall and then went into security and then retrieved the weapon right after he got through security. Now, there's not much details known about this guy. According to the news and police, he was black, male, wearing a black hoodie and so forth. So that's not really narrowing anything down. Hopefully the video footage and security footage will show a lot more. And in here, just a second, I'll show you how big the wall is and what it looks like from the street according to Google Earth. Now, if you look at here, this wall only appears to be maybe 7-8 feet tall, maybe even shorter than that. So it wouldn't be hard to pass an object over it. Now, what amazes me about this whole thing is that there's a lot of traffic on this road. So this guy had to do it extremely fast and know what he was doing and be extremely familiar with this park. And if this park uses Evolve technology, which I believe it does according to recent friends that have been there, Evolve technology allows people to pass through, and if they go off, they go to secondary screening. It detects a variety of different things to include guns and also other items that are prohibited in pockets or in the purses. What it does is it takes a picture shows the location of where it's at, and then they go ahead and do a routine secondary search, which could be wanding, could be a bag search, it could be a full body and bag search. And that is the reason why I believe this is not the way that the shooting suspect decided to bring his gun in, because this system is going to 9 times out of 10 or 9.9 times out of 10 is going to detect a weapon such as a gun. Now, because a gun is a hard metal, it detects it right away. So the likelihood of him coming through the security with the evolved system is going to be unlikely. So then he has to develop a secondary plan. And like I said, he probably canvassed Kennywood for a while to determine where he's going to hit this up at. And he was probably at the park earlier in the day. And that is how it is predetermined that he knew exactly what he was going to do. And he probably knew that another group was going to be at the park, because according to sources, it seemed to be either a teenage dispute or a gang-related dispute. So this was definitely pre-planned by this suspect. So if he walked around the park and rode a couple of rides, I believe the park was open during the day, obviously, then it opened in the evening for the Halloween event. So he would have canvassed the area and found a specific area to throw his bag over on, which means there's probably some guy in that area. Hopefully they have cameras in that area where they're able to pick out where this guy was at. Now, after the shooting happened, it's unknown if he exited out of the park, which wouldn't have been that hard due to the fact that as soon as the shooting happens and somebody takes off, especially if he's wearing a black hoodie and he's camouflaged in the night, it wouldn't be hard for him to either A, jump the fence, or B, just exit out of the park with the rest of the guests and just act really frantic when he does so. Now, I believe there was 2 parties involved in this. Now, obviously, this is not 100% or anything like that, but in order to throw a gun over, he had to have somebody to retrieve the gun. Now, obviously, when he shot the gun at the 3 other victims, he ran off. So we might have got a description of somebody running off that might not have been the suspect. Hopefully there's cameras in the area to find out exactly what happened. I'm hopeful that there are cameras near Music Express and they're able to see this whole thing unfold, and then they will have a general description and a video and photo of the suspect. If not, and that be the case, I'm just glad that the 3 victims are going to survive the shooting, and Kennywood's going to probably add more security in terms of more perimeter patrols. So you're going to see a lot more perimeter patrols being done to the outskirts to prevent anybody from being able to do anything or throw anything over the fence. Now, Kennywood, unfortunately, it's a great park, but unfortunately, it's in an area where it has had a history of gangs and problems with violence with teenagers. Now, somebody mentioned that they think that chaperoning teenagers would have prevented this. There's a possibility that it could have prevented this. But if this person already had this planned out, even if he had a chaperone, the shooting probably would have took place. And I think a chaperone policy should be taken into context on this, just because then you have a parent guardian with them and they might be less likely to do something like this. And we do not know the back history of this. Obviously, the police are investigating this right now, and it's going to probably take them a good week or 2 to find out exactly who did it. And as we know more information, I will put it on here. But I do think that you're going to see a lot of increased security, a chaperone policy, and more thorough searches in terms of bag searches and so forth like that. I think it's highly unlikely that this individual actually brought a gun, because you're going to get a different type of status from the evolved machine if it's a weapon or a gun. And they would have done a heck of a lot more thorough of a search. But then again, if there is secondary screening related to this, then there's always that possibility that it could have got past screening. It does happen. It is human error. So we have that possibility. We have the fence possibility. And we also have the possibility that it is 2 parties that are involved in this. But also I want to get into the specifics, because I saw something related to the matter of somebody arguing the fact that gun control would have fixed this. And having worked prior law enforcement and just being in the area of criminal justice, if criminals are determined to do something, they could get the guns illegally, and gun control isn't really going to fix that problem. What is going to happen to fix the problem in terms of theme park security, as you just have more enhanced security. You have more police officers during events like this patrolling the outers, and you have them positioned in different places throughout the park to ensure that they are watching and monitoring everything. And not to hit on security at all or anything like that, but police officers are more trained into identifying certain things. I know in particular, having that background, I see a lot more things than some other people when they used to work security with me, due to the fact that you're just looking for different things. You're looking for suspicious behaviors. You're looking for things out of the ordinary. Now, it is harder to find these type of things when you have a huge amount of people involved, because obviously this event's going to attract a huge crowd. It is a theme park, so it's different provisions on that. But we're going to see a lot of enhanced security. Obviously, the local law enforcement and the security at Kennywood is going to come up with a new plan to make it a safer event. And I feel like the crowds this Friday are not going to be as heavy, just because now people are afraid to go out of fear that there's going to be something else that's going to happen. So you could definitely look to see Kennywood add more police officer presence and more security presence on Friday to Sunday. And hopefully, like I said, they're able to find out who did this. And please comment below what you think. And let me know if you want me to do future videos like this in the future. I really appreciate you watching this whole video. And please be sure to subscribe and like for future videos that'll drop down here. Keep your prayers and condolences with the family. And I am thankful that nobody was severely hurt to the fact that anybody had life-threatening injuries related to this shooting. Thanks again for watching this video. Have a good one. Stay safe out there and enjoy your Halloween haunt season.